Relegation for the upcoming season of the ESL Pro League. It's going to be Season 6 these teams are trying to qualify for. Currently having Ghost Gaming trying to move their way up from the Mountain Dew League, and Rush with the potential to get knocked out of the NA Pro League currently, as they did end up pretty low in the rankings for the last season. They also did just drop the first map over on Inferno, so Ghost is up 1-0 at this point, but we go to Rush's map pick for the second one, and it's going to be over here on Mirage. Bach's still with me, so Bach, what are we looking at here for this second map?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people came into this series and don't really know what to expect from Ghost. All they really know about them is, oh, this is the team that was in, ECS or what have you, that qualified but hasn't really done much since. I think they're actually winless in ECS. But coming into the postseason of the Mountain Dew League, and this was confirmed in England just last weekend, a lot of teams were really concerned about having to play Ghost Gaming. Didn't matter the map. They would rather play teams like E United or Eclipse, who played at the top of the league, whereas Ghost Gaming barely qualified for playoffs as the 8 seed. They were dangerously worried about Ghost Gaming because even though they barely made playoffs and they struggled online during the regular season, this team has a long-standing history. Going back to several lands where the team was actually formed before they started competing in online leagues. So looking at that first map, I'm not really surprised that Ghost was able to take it. And this one, even though it's not their strongest map, I'm still concerned if I'm Rush because I'm up against a formidable opponent. And it is going to be Rush starting on the T side here on Mirage. A weird setup early on as they had heavy play towards B, but a great tap from Wardell to silence Akis right off the bat. And it brings us to a 5-on-4, but the push is still underway. They've got a man trying to peek through the smokes at the top of stairs. That's Connor, and now the rotate has come through over towards CT spawn. Look at this. They're going for a bit of a head boost to try and peek up over towards the stairs, and they get it. Are they going to actually be able to line up the shot? No. They're having a hard time, and in that meantime, Toy has picked up a kill, and the rest of the players do fall as well. So a 1-0 start for Rush despite the early damage that was dealt by Wardell.
Yeah, they do follow through, cleaning up on that round relatively unscathed there. So they'll be able to claim the pistol, put themselves ahead, and immediately we see UMP investments along with a 1 Mac 10 for Silent going into the second round. And Ghost will promptly go into their own force up, primarily 5-7s for them. So we'll see what Rush have to offer us here now. Seeing if they're going to be able to be as active as they tried to be back over on our last map. Of course, it was during the T-side where they did sort of fall apart, so we'll hope on their map pick they're going to be a little bit more prominent with their ability to push in. And we can see Seb starting himself off. Akis, though, destroys him. Moves in there, eliminates Seb, and that will open up the B-bomb side, allowing Rush to plant. Ghost still trying to send a few players in. They're not going to give up on this attempt just yet. Neptune next up the bat. Trying to push his way up through the underpass here, but the problem is he's already someone looking. Actually, never mind. He's not looking out for him. He's looking a little bit outside there. Neptune moves in, takes down Toy, and we re-even into a 4v4 as the remaining 3 players are still trying to line up a bit of a crunch here, although I don't think they're actively going to go for the retake, more so looking for exits than anything.
Yeah, it does appear to be the case, and you really can't blame them for that either. There's not really much of a chance for them to retake. Better to hold on to the guns that you've got, which includes the Scout. B actually takes some damage there, and they're going to lose Wardell in the meantime as well. Neptune's still holding on to the ump, though, and he had a good exit angle if they were to come towards that direction. He's just going to throw a nade up. Bit of a distraction. Hey, I'm over here. The remaining players from Ghost Gaming will survive, so 3 for both teams walk away from the round, but it's Rush to walk away with the victory. So, Neptune, what are you going to do with that grandfathered UMP? He's going to toss away the 5-7, which makes sense. B's going to hold on to the Scout. So it's still really not a bad round, all things considered here for Ghost. A little bit weaker than the one they had before, just because of the fact that Wardell has no armor and Seb's got a USP.
Yeah, now Rush is probably going to go for the same plan here in terms of an execute. Already sending their players inside of the apartments and ready to swing them outside here. Seb trying to do his best to defend against it, but with just that USP, it's not going to be looking too good. The Scout, though, could do a little bit, as we already saw tagging. I think it was Akis down to 16 HP. But besides that, not really a whole lot getting done, and they're going to end up in the same position as they were in the last round. Rush should end up 3-0 to start.
And poor B, he saw that Molotov land and he knew there was nothing he could do about it. Then the flashbang comes through and Akis just dives into the window. So again, Ghost left in an awkward retake scenario, and again, they're left wondering if it's even worth going for. Neptune is going to move his way in from underpass, put some bullets towards Toy, actually doesn't connect with any of them, and now the rest of the players from his team are trying to help him with some support. Blade's going to lead the charge. That's an easy drive-by frag for Blade. So down to just 2 now, as Connor has now positioned himself at the back end of apartments. The CC-75 starts sparking bullets towards Toy, drops him very low in HP, but doesn't pick up the kill. There's a lot of players softened up right in front of him. If he can just get one of them, that would make this round that much sweeter for Ghost, but it's not going to happen today. Connor's going to hang on to his life, as does Wardell. And that means Wardell's going to get the AWP in the next round. The buy's coming in for Ghost. And we'll see what Rush decides to do with their equipment here. Are they going to hold on to these SMGs? They've got quite a few of them, including the MAC-10. Is Silent going to use this round as a bonus and try and stack up some extra cheddar before deciding to buy that up? No, he's actually going to go straight to an AK.
Man, Rush following through upon this, too. They're not actually going to go for a lot of direct mid control, really just sending Silent in there to kind of do it on his own. The other 4 are lined up here at T-Ramp, already kind of in a position to try and execute out onto the site within just the first, 10 to 15 seconds in the round. Ghost, they've got a few players ready to defend, and the problem is a lot of focalization is happening towards mid right now. Heartbeat for Connor, he's trying to check in between both connector and out on the site. He's obviously going to be looking more towards the site now with all these nades moving him, but besides him, all you really have is B back by ticket, and B's very, very scared right now to peek back out. Ruru trying to push back up. Thankfully, the lines of Wardell's push. Wardell finds himself an easy kill there. And now we are going to be able to see a few more of them try to get back into it. Connor finding one. He'll be traded up by Toy, but B getting himself a double from back here at ticket. Leaves only one alive, and it's not going to stay that way for very long. Ghost, indeed, clean up nice and easily here. And we'll go 1 to 3 as they do claim the first gun round.
I mean, that's the Ghost we saw on their CT side on Inferno. They just looked way cleaner here. Just a complete shutdown. Now, like we said, that was a bonus round of sorts for Rush. So they go into it with all the SMGs, knowing that if they can get the bomb down and pick up a few kills, even if they lose it, they've got more than enough money to buy up again. And that's exactly what they do. So they're going to have the op. And even still, look at the cash left over on Toy, Blade, and Akis. That's a lot of money to have to push them into another buy, potentially. They'd be a little bit light, as, Silent wouldn't have enough to buy up. But good cash utilization early on from Rush, balancing out the checkbooks quite well. But it is the first round for Ghost, but an early kill for Rush is going to give Neptune some PTSD from that first map where they were consistently losing bodies within the first 30 seconds of the round. That's really not how you want things to go early, losing your young gun in Neptune. So they are going to be a bit weaker here with Wardell positioned in window, trying to provide support for a top mid. And now they got to figure out how they're going to try and balance out the map, as they've got only one player playing towards B. That's Seb all by himself, and they're losing window control as well with that smoke going down.
Yeah, now Rush trying to move in, taking that mid control here. Ghost still hanging back quite a bit. As you can see, Connor still trying to wait this one out and see if they'll attempt to move in for a little bit of window control there, but at the moment, not really going for it. Ruru as well, already lurking his way all the way up to the connector. Rush in a moment is once again going to be primed to essentially do the same thing they did on the first gun round here, but the big difference is going to be that they'll actually now have that mid control to add to it instead of just one player trying to haphazardly swing himself into it. Should hopefully go a little better, especially when you consider the early advantage they already have and the fact that there's 2 more players over on B, which may turn into a 3rd player in a second too, depending on which way Connor wants to go. He gives up window control completely and is just going to play towards ticket. So that's the only angle they have to defend A, and it's not going to lead to a whole lot, more than likely.
B has already taken damage as well back in that position. A nade lands, as do some bullets to the boxes. There's the molly to flush him out, and that's a save at that. Ghost has no reason to go for this one. 5 players up as Rush gained control of the A site, and it's already been called. Wardell and Seb, they're going to tuck tail and run as they want to hold on to this M4 and AWP if possible, but Rush knows it, and since, like we said, Rush has money right now, there's really no reason for them to not go after these 2 remaining players. They've already sent feelers out towards B, and you got Toy working his way through underpass. It did look like Ruru was going to push his way into market just a little bit more, but he doesn't. Toy gets caught looking the opposite direction as Seb swings wide on the stairs, but now they at least have an idea as to where one of these players are, and chances are where one lies, so does the other. So Akis trying to bait Seb out, if possible, back by the TV room, but they've lost another player, the flank player. That was Ruru going down. Now Seb drops, but at least Wardell's got his op, and he should be able to survive here, as these players won't be able to get in position in time to take that gun away from him. So it's a 4th round for Rush, and an immediate reset of sorts for Ghost Gaming. They lost a lot of money there.
Yeah, Ghosts are not going to find themselves in a relatively happy position after losing out in that round here. We can already see the buys are going to be relatively minimal for the 6th round, giving Rush that nice advantage. Wardell still has the op, but that's really the only power gun that they're going to have going into the 6th round now. Besides that, it's going to be just 5.7s and P250s, so you have to hope that Wardell goes massive for we see a pretty quick closeout from Rush and allowing him to save again, as otherwise that gun is going to be relatively useless here in this round. And overall, Rush should be able to crush it.
They got to watch out for Seb, who's right around the corner with the 5.7, and we know how deadly this gun can be from this close. They actually molly deeper back just in case there's a man in pit. Seb lets the first one pass, puts a bullet down. There's one kill for Seb. Is he going to get more from this position? Unlikely. The rest of the players had made it out the window. He put himself in too awkward of a spot to really do much of anything. Heartbeat, that would be Connor working in from the backside. He picks off one, gets himself an AK. Good damage being dealt to Blade. Silence right in front of him as well with the op, but he leaps right up into the crosshair. So it's down to just B, and I think Silence saw him squeak past the pole. It looked like it for a second, but maybe not. B's just going to hold here.
Yeah, Silence watching apartments. I don't think he actually saw him. B may be able to sneak in here for free. I obviously won't be able to really defuse the bomb or anything, but he could try to pick up 1 or 2 more kills with a 5.7 in hand. And there he goes. Goes for it. Silent spotting him now, though. But Silent missing the shot, so there's the opportunity that he needed. Goes in. He's got the op in his hand, and now he's happy. He can just run away with this thing. And I'm pretty sure he's got the time to escape, too. Just has to dodge the bullets there from Blade, and he successfully does that. So that's actually a pretty big thing to escape with at the end of the round here. Huge stride for B. And now he's got a free op going into the next round.
And they even lost another AK as well. Blade died trying to hold the op back. By trying to keep him from crossing the window, Blade dies in his retreat. So it ends up being a very costly round for Rush, but they had a bit of a pocket they could fall back on. So here comes the buy from Ghost. They save the money for the op, but they've got to put, guns down elsewhere. So a lot of money spent here. If Ghost loses this one, it's back down to pistols again, and this just becomes more and more devastating for their CT side. We'll see if it's going to look as bad as Rush did there in that first half. It's looking a little bit worse for them, if anything. Blade, trying to make his way out of ramp, somehow lets Connor get a kill before he makes his way through. Meanwhile, across the map, Wardell's going to pick up a kill with that AWP, but the bomb working its way into this A site, and the site being secured as well. Smokes, flashes, everything just pouring out from the hands of Rush. There's not really much that they can do as of yet. They're going to have to wait for this utility to dry out here before they can go for the retake.
Now Ruer's up on top, but he loses himself to Neptune there. That's going to be a huge loss, actually, as now Blade's in a really poor position too, but they're not going to expect him to get that aggressive. So I take that back. The position works out great. Blade's able to move in, shuts down Neptune, and now 7 Wardell trying to swing their way in here. I'll pull up his retake still. Smoke's going to go into the way, but Silent can still easily abuse through the smoke. We already saw that once. Wardell spots him, though, so now it's just down to Blade. 1v2, lines up one, trying to transfer to the second, not going to get it, but there's no time left to defuse the bomb anyway. Wardell's hoping to get the kill at the very least and get some money. He'll get that frag. I don't even know if he's escaping now, though. Nope. Dies of the explosion. Everyone goes down, but more importantly, Rush do indeed claim the round.
Really well played by Blade there. He knows he has to take a fight with that guy coming in from CT, and he just catches him in an awkward spot. I think they were trying to mask the sound of a flash being pulled because he started just running at the ticket booth and spraying, maybe anticipating too that he was in that corner because of the positions that were spotted earlier on. So, great move from him. He gets CT and he just runs right into CT spawn, dives around the corner and hides. His teammate does just what he needs to do, delays long enough to put the clock in an awkward spot, and then that smoke that was down on the site did them no favors. So it's back to pistols again here for Ghost as Rush is off to a fantastic start on their T side. And Silent knows exactly what he's got in front of him. No sense buying heavy here. He's gone straight to the MAC-10. He wants to make some extra cash here, an extra $600 going into his bank account for every single kill he can get. The Molotov flushes Wardell out, and it's Silent to get the kill. So it's already proving that it's worth it as he's picked up the first kill of the round. And they have a decent idea as what's happening, too, because I believe they saw another player crossing over the van.
Yeah, Rush is still trying to follow through with this, though. But here's the thing. B working his way on the flank. It's going to be a little bit too slow to actually make impact, but hold on now. So Rush are falling back over here to the back calls, gets one, going for the second, but he's a little bit too aggressive with it, so he does trade him back out. But Neptune also picked up a second kill, so this is down to a 2v3, still winnable for Ghost. It's going to be a little bit awkward here. Heartbeat, Connor trying to move his way in, catches Akis, still tossing a nade out, brings him down to 20 HP, but unfortunately doesn't get the kill itself. And now Neptune's going to be found, trying to get cheeky, moving in through that molly to hunt down Akis, and he'll be eliminated. So Rush to recover, picking up the round, keeping themselves kosher, keeping themselves consistent. Now 7-1 against Ghost as they're about to reinvest for their next gun round.
You just kind of look at Ghost and you wonder what happened. This team looks so good on Inferno on their CT side not that long ago, but they're just getting steamrolled right now by Rush, and Rush has really just controlled the economic pace so well to keep Ghost from really being able to do anything about it. So what do they decide to do? They're going to get aggressive here in mid, and they're going to push right up into Akis, who's already made it past the boxes due to that smoke that's down, and that's a lineup for him. He had already softened up one of the targets with a molly that was thrown very early in the round at the bottom of the connector. So a great start again for Rush. I feel like I'm just broken record at this point. Wardell's got his up. He might get mollied out as well, but the molly goes a little bit deeper. It's actually back by the brick boxes on Catwalk. They've lost their A player in B. And at this point, I think Seb and Wardell need to consider saving because there's really not much left for them to do. The bomb's going to be working its way towards that A site. And it's a 2 versus 5 where they're going to get back down to pistols yet again.
Yeah, they're already trying to create like a defense matrix to stay alive here. Seb's watching out for aggression through the rat hole over there. And Wardell just hiding inside of dark room to watch out for additional mid and connector pressure. And in fact, he's going to find it in 2 different places. He might find himself dead in a minute here. Yeah, he needs to fall back to the site. Staying out here in the open, that's going to be, well, a little bit too dangerous as he's taken down by Silent. Now it just leaves Seb in the play with Rush for sure. Going up to 8 here, and even if Seb stays alive, that's just going to be that one gun that they carry through. Thankfully, losing bonus is getting rather large, so they may still decide to try and force into it regardless, or at least half buy into it, but still.
Seb here's the footsteps of Ruru, and oh man, even with the knowledge of where Ruru comes from, and diving into the window with a midair target, Ruru doesn't really seem to care as the AK gets under control before the M4 of his opponent. So it's an 8-1 now as things just go from bad to worse. I mean, the fear right now, if you're a Ghost, is we've seen these strong comebacks from them in the past, but we've also seen the mental state of the team after the comeback kind of dies down. Like their game against Big at Mountain Dew League, they were down 13-2, and then the game finished 16-13. They still lost, but they made it close. But that's almost worse. Like, they even said it in the lunch tent afterwards. We're talking to the team, and they said it's almost worse to get that close and lose than it is to just get blown out. Because you can reset it and go, well, they're a good team. But when you get that close and then you still lose, you're like, man, we should have won that. It goes away from being they're much better than us to a game that we now lost. So right now, if you're Ghost, there's not really a win-win here if this pattern continues, because it looks like Rush is poised to force this one to a third map. I haven't seen anything from Ghost that says otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, both these teams are at least for Ghost, of course, coming back as well, are dealing with a little bit of a jet lag issue themselves, I imagine. So they're having to sort of deal with that. But now we do indeed start to see players from Rush prop up for another B hit. Ghost is right into this one, though, so they're going to have positioning on this site. Still, positioning hasn't really meant much for them. Akis after B finds that one nice Huandig there. This leads to Rush pretty much shutting this down single-handedly. Although Neptune, a little bit of a push. He's confused what exactly he can do now, though, after he finds that kill, as he kind of just looks around, trying to find at least one more player to take a shot at, but nothing is found, so he's eliminated pretty promptly after that. And then Rush will bring it up to 9. As indeed, like you were saying, this is going pretty quickly into the hands of a dominant Rush scoreline. No clue where it's going to end up at, but looking likely to get at least in the double digits.
I mean, what's wild, too, is normally when you would see a scoreline like this, you'd check the scoreboard and there'd be someone who was just, like, destroying. There really isn't. Everyone from Rush is playing well. Even Toy, who's at the bottom, 4 and 7, it's not the worst performance I've seen from a player before, but no one's, like, sitting at some crazy absurd numbers like when we had those big games this weekend and Tabson was, like, 17 and 4. It's not like we have one player doing that. They're just taking sites with ease and not really much of a fight from Ghost, but here's a bit of fight. It's taken them a while to find it as Seb and B both combined for 3. So Silent and Toy left wondering what happened to the team that was dominating in just the last few rounds as B picks up another kill here. The double seeming to be worthwhile for them as Toy's in the site alone. Got one kill here over on this B bomb site, and he's got B right around the corner with the op. That's another one for Toy, trying to line things up onto Wardell as well. So he's managed to secure the site. At the very least, a bomb plan here. He's going to have to force Ghost into him. It's not necessarily going to be easy, but it is manageable here for Toy.
He can definitely do some more damage as he's trying to move in, though. This aggression could be what kills him. He's got to be cautious about it. Wardell taking a shot back at him from there, crossing the window. Now it's dangerous, but he lines up 2. Only able to get 1 more, but even that's impressive considering what just happened there. Rush seemingly got way too comfortable with their position in this match and did try to kind of haphazardly just push into the site with very underutilized utility and whatnot. So led to Ghost pretty much shutting everyone down except for Toy at the end there, who does still pick up a massive 3K. It does great economical damage. Now, giving them the potential to reset if they just shut down this round.
I mean, if the spacing was even a little bit different for those players in market, that could have been really bad. He could have lined up Wardell and Neptune, and then it's a 1 versus 1 from a 1v5, a round that should never be. But yeah, you know, Ghost is still not in a pretty spot. They can't afford to surrender around here. That's exactly what happened to them at first rifle. It was an immediate follow-up, and then it was 5 more after that. They've just been on the back of a, you know, eco, buy, eco, buy, eco, buy. That's what they've had to do consistently here. But at least they're starting things off with the early damage, just like what's going on Inferno, as they've dropped Ruru very early in the round. Even though it was the FAMAS, they made it work. And it's going to be another kill going the way of the T side this time, though. It's Silent and Aegis combining for one and another, as Neptune and Heartbeat are both dropped in the round, scrubbed off the scoreboard. Seb, Wardell, and B trying to hold off this A bomb site if possible. The Molotov just beyond Seb, but he can't back up too far to try and take these fights. He's taking so much damage from the flames, keeps landing back into him as they're licking away at his heels. It's a 3-on-2 now with the bomb just about to go down, but they're afraid to plant it with this op spamming away. Eventually, Blade finds a safe spot, and it'll force a 2v2 retake here for the CT side of Ghost.
Blade's got to be careful around Sandwich there. Thankfully, he bypassed it and went towards over there towards jungle, but still. Thought presence left being left open is what's brought this into the situation in the first place. And Nabi's going to move out, but I think B missed the cue on Blade fully crossing over there. So Blade's able to very easily line up for that kill, just leaving Wardell alive, who's really just going to go for this one. It hits a beautiful shot on Blade. 1 more to go. It's against Aegis behind the last triple stack. He spotted him now. Leads to line up the shot, and he gets it. It's the no-scope. 1v2 from Wardell. Ghosts are going up to 3.
Okay. I mean, Aegis played that one exactly like you should, but sometimes somebody just hits a ridiculous shot. What a shot from Wardell. The first one was equally as impressive. I mean, he charges up from CT spawn, and he has, you know, only a second to react. And you would think with the first peek, the second one would follow from the teammate, but Aegis is trying to play the bomb because it's such a close round and the bomb is ticking away so well. It was well played, but Wardell, a risky play to charge in there, knowing that he's got to put the team on his back in that situation because of how bad the scoreline has gotten, and he gives Ghost a fighting chance, a glimmer of hope. But they're still not in a great spot, still at risk of being reset because everyone else but him died. So they really need to survive around here with more bodies than just 1 or 2 players, because otherwise it's got Rush in a position where they consistently can just force buy even if they had to till the end and potentially break their money.
Wardell's been playing some of that Quake Champions beta. He just railgunned it. Nicely done. So, brings it into a 4v5 scenario early on. However, with Blade getting the kill this time, it brings Rush back into the fold. Them having an advantage now. They won't have that early mid control to work off of, and even getting themselves a nice early kill against Connor, too. So, I mean, they pretty much have their pick of the litter now. If you look at Ghost, they're just completely spread out across the map. B, well, good luck to him, because in a moment he's going to have all 5 players on Rush pushing into it. Gets that first kill, a second possibly lining up, and he gets that one as well. The power of the UMP still shines through strong, but in attempting to trade out for an AK, he'll be taken out by Blade, Toy, eliminating Wardell too. Just leaves Seb alive now in a 1v3 situation. Best OPS is his lineup for exits.
I don't know. Part of me thinks you just have to go for this. The scoreline is so bad at this point, you might as well. Because really, you're at 9-3, you're going to give him a 10th. And your money's not going to be good enough that you could really do much in the next round. I guess there's an argument for both sides, right? Because the scoreline is either really bad and you have, you know, pistols and you did more damage, or I just don't know. I don't feel like there's really a winning scenario here for Ghost. But Seb does decide to play it safe. He's going to go for the exit here and just watch the murder hole in case someone runs through. Maybe he gets lucky and he gets an op and he runs away, and that's the key. I mean, we saw what it did for Big at Mountain Dew League, where they had taps in and they gave him an AK, and all of a sudden he 4Ks. So it's just pistols and him with an AK, and they win the round. So it's certainly possible here. Seb's going to have a rifle. Wardell's got enough to buy. I'd assume that they're probably just going to surround Seb's rifle with some pistols here, and that does appear to be the play. But double-digit rounds for Rush already. I just feel like you're giving Ghost, or you're giving Rush too much by, you know, decelerating here and not putting your foot on the gas pedal. Yeah, and this is going to let Ghost
Trying to get back into this. But unfortunately, with this very low power, it's not really going to give them the best chance at it. So Rush, more than likely, should just be able to stomp the floor on this one and shut it down relatively quickly. They've already claimed 1 kill. Silence looking for another one just inside of the apartments. Heartbeat sitting a little bit further back, or Connor rather, sitting a little bit further back. He's going to try to hit some close-up shots with the Deagle. Knows he's being pressured. He's got to find this. There's so much pressure working its way over in his direction, but can't get anything done about it. Silent and Ruru pick up 2 more kills there, and it's down to Seb now, who might as well just save this for the last round and maybe donate a gun or 2 over to his teammates if they're feeling a little bit lower.
Well, it's Seb again in the same position he was in before with his rifle. It's a good thing he brought it over, but it didn't really have too much of an impact outside of getting an exit kill. So he's going to try and run away with this AK. They know he's here, and they feel very content to push for him and take him out. So he's got a player to watch out for coming in from the A-bomb site. That'll be Ruru, but he's got to keep his head on a swivel, and it's just not possible. So 11 rounds now for Rush. That rifle just kind of negated at that point, and Rush is going to be forced to buy up whatever they can afford here, which isn't going to be a whole lot. Wardell straight to the op. There's going to be an M4 or 2 in play, but a lot of FAMASs, I'd imagine, and limited kits and utility. Maybe even a couple umps, yeah. Neptune has to go for the ump. Connor hasn't bought yet, but... Connor? Rip Connor.
That's going to suck. Now he's back. All right. He got the buy and everything, so that's good.
That would have been even more frustrating if you're close to the final round.
Well, they probably just would have called for a reset right there.
Yeah,
since that was like right at the start of the round. So Rush propping up again inside of the B halls, and also having a few players shaping up to try and go for top mid control. We'll see where they swing into in a second, as obviously Ghosts do have themselves a little bit of firepower to work with. Utility is certainly limited, though. Already down to, after they've used whatever they did buy into this, they're already down to just 1 Molotov, and then just a bunch of scattered flashbangs are all they really bring to the table. Typical mid-control play, more than likely about to happen here, and Ghosts are set up for it, so they do have a really good chance to try and stop this, at least have an attempt to make the scoreline 4-11. Seb, oh, beautiful flashbang, though, goes right over top connector. Blinded Wardell, too, so there was no room for a trade at all. Ruru just walks right up, casually gets that kill, and Ward doesn't even know where to look when he gets challenged by Ruru inside of the connector. Just like that, 5v3 scenario. 2 of them going to try to hold outside of the connector itself, but smoke's covering off everything, so it is making it a little bit obscured right now. Connor does spot Ruru, but again, Ruru strikes. Already up to his 3rd kill now. And Neptune goes down. B finally trading into 1, gets a 2nd, but that doesn't matter on the 15th round. Ruru shutting it down. Gets himself the ace. And Rush do indeed close out, giving themselves 12-3 at the half.
I mean, that's the way you reset after a really, rough first map. If you're Rush, you're feeling all that confident moving into the 3rd one. Because the reality is, unless Ghosts do something absolutely unheard of, we should see a 3rd map. And the reason I say absolutely unheard of is not because it's a 12-3 and that's unrecoverable. It's because it's a 12-3 where Rush or Ghost basically didn't even exist. There were so many rounds where it just felt like Rush had full control of every part of the map. It didn't really feel like the game was all that close. So, there's a very strong likelihood that a 3rd map is going to follow. Now, I remember watching Ghost play Mirage during the regular season, and it wasn't a great map for them. In fact, they had a game where they were up 14-6 and they lost 16-14. So Ghost is not the most prominent of Mirage teams. So it's also possible they came into this one and went, all right, probably going to be a 3-map series because they got Mirage on us. Do you happen to know the 3rd map offhand?
I think I have the HLTV page up. 1 second. It's Cash.
It's Cash.
Yeah.
I kind of can see that going 50-50. So. Yeah, I think that's 50-50 for these 2 teams.
Well, more than likely we're going to end up finding it. We'll see how Ghost does on this execute, though, as they still have a chance to get back into it if they can pick up the pistol and knock it eco in the 2nd round. And they pretty much get free B control. Rush was focused way more on Cat, so they didn't even have anyone on the site. Just a walk-in for Ghost. Sure, they're happy with that. Rush, though, does have the retake set up. Now they actually have to, make some impact on it. Wardell just gets destroyed by Akis as he tries to take that first battle. And Toy strikes as well, back over on the Cat push. So both of the kind of pushing forces making their impact immediately here. Neptune now trying to hold. He gets the double, swinging out. I'm not sure if he was able to catch the 3rd player, though. Ruru swinging back around. He's able to eliminate 1, having himself the duel versus Neptune. But Neptune's still alive and in this. Up to 3 kills now. Finally taken out by Toy. Only 1 alive, and it's Seb. He does not last very long either. It's Rush that will claim control of this pistol. And more than likely will have themselves an easy path forward to closing out on the map. He's actually going to be a little close here. I think they got it.
I don't think he's got it.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. 0.3 seconds. Toy had the kit, so Silent had no reason to stick it, and he didn't have enough time for a 10-second, but Toy was still in market. So Toy just beelined it straight for the bomb. I mean, he clips one texture accidentally there or tries to B-hop his way there to get there faster. That round could have been Ghost's. So we see Rush pick up the pistol. Ghost isn't going to try and slow down and wait for that third round AK buy because they know they can't give that much leeway to Rush. So it's Tech 9s across the board for Ghost. Armor to back it up as well. A few smokes and flashes using that extra bomb cache to put down a legit take towards this A site. Probably going to be a standard A execute. I wouldn't expect anything fancy here. That nade from Akis could have done a lot more damage, but God, side by side, UMPs right at the front of ramp managed to do decent damage, but they also get overwhelmed by the Tech 9s. B is down to 6 HP here. Wardell's going to charge his way in towards CT spawn to help secure the bomb. A retake is still very likely, but look at this. Connor flies over the smoke at stairs and picks off Silent. An immediate trade out, though, as Ruru is there with the MP9 of all things. And now you've got to rely on Wardell as B is so scratched up, down to just 6 health. Wardell's got to make some space for the team. He's back behind triple stack with a bullet starting to come through. Flashes, nades, everything they've got. And there it is. Wardell gets one. Almost does the second as well as Toy's very low, but he's got enough to survive. And enough time for yet another defuse. A scary round if you're Rush, but a 14th nonetheless.
Yeah, Rush had so much utility there, and while it did look a little bit scary, I think they still had decent control of it, considering that, you know, they still had like 2 mollies, they had smokes and flashbangs as well, so playing it a little direct there at the end, but they do indeed close out upon it. So 14-3, Ghost obviously going to have to go for their investment here now, just so they can try to keep this, you know, winning this map a bit of a possibility, but I'm not too confident. We'll have to see how they do. They end up getting 3 AKs, like a Galil, a Scout, and then 1 smoke for this team to use.
Well, you got to buy. You got to get whatever you can get. There's Seb and Wardell combining at least for a kill, and another one for Wardell as well. Say what you will about the man in his AWP. He's doing it right now with his AK. He softened up the first target for Seb and got the second as well. Connor's going to pick off one more with the AK, so these AKs, they might not have had much behind them, but it's all they need, as Akis is already all alone on the map. The bomb is still not down, and it's way off in the background, actually. It's in apartments. They seem like they've got blood in the water there right now, though. They're just going for kills, bloodthirsty, looking for where Akis is hiding. Akis has a pretty good position, but Wardell has a better one. If he moves even a little bit out of that window without peeking towards the scaffolds, it's an easy kill for Wardell, and there it is. So Akis takes the duel with the man top mid. It is a 4th round for Rush. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's light at the end of the tunnel, maybe a pinhole. And the sun has already set. You're in dusk, so there's really not much light coming through, but there's something. It would be very hard for Ghost to come back, but we've seen some crazy comebacks in the past.
And I mean, even so, now looking at this one, Rush are going to be able to take a save here. So Ghost, at the very least, getting themselves maybe 1 or 2 rounds for free off of that, depending on how light Rush wants to take it. I think with the full save here, though, they should be good. And again, it's kind of going to be up in the air. We'll see how light they're going to be happy with going for a full buy upon. Some players still going to be kind of floating a little under 4K when we get into the next round, so we'll have to wait and see exactly how that transpires. But for right now, with this full save essentially in play, except for maybe the Deagle, I'm not expecting any huge upsets for Rush in this round. More than likely, Ghost should be able to run right in here and close out relatively quickly to get themselves a 5th.
They're working things slow, though. They don't really want to walk into any kind of traps, knowing that it is possible that Rush could have, you know, bought up some armor behind this. So they're going to just take their time, methodically work across the map. It's actually weird because the bomb was over towards B for a moment. It looked like they might even try to fake it. But they are going to bring it back through underpass and try and regroup with the rest of the team who's already making their way out on this A site. Akis tag teaming right now underneath balcony with Toy, hoping for a surprise. Look, there's 2 of us. Doesn't really matter. Just the softened up P250s with no armor. It's easy for the AKs to chew right through. And it will be a 5th round for Ghost, but they don't lose a single player, which is icing on the cake right now if you're Ghost. If you're gonna do this, you gotta survive with as much money as possible. It will likely be a save here for Rush. They don't really have a reason to force up just yet. So another round of pistols before they come into a very heavy buy in the next one.
Yeah, so Rush do indeed, as I was saying before, they decided to take that secondary save now and are going to lighten it up since a lot of their players were still sitting around like 3.5, a little under the 4K mark, which is like the safe point to buy for the CT side. So Ghost just going in, taking their usual mid control. Wardell probably going to find himself in a duel versus Silent in a second here. Silent out in the open, amazingly still alive after that one. Has a bit of an awkward shuffle with Wardell. And Blade sneaks in a kill here, but so far that's about it. Already down to 2 for Rush. Blade tries to escape with the AK, but not going to pay out. Now Toy getting himself one more kill against Neptune. Tries to go for another one against Connor. Well, Connor does come out on top that time. Goes up to 6, but Rush also now back onto the full body.
I'm curious to see how Rush decides to approach this. If they were going to go with the double op, which they don't decide to do. Just one op right now. Again, there really isn't much pressure on Rush because of the fact that the lead is so great that they can buy and full save in the next if they need to. And they just need to find 2 rounds. So they're kind of at a leisurely pace right now. Whereas it's Ghost whose backs are against the wall and they're forced to try and, move things a little bit faster. Connor already in underpass, working his way towards the lower side of a window. He's got one on catwalk, and there was one window as well. Ruru has now made it into the ladder room. He's playing on top of the scaffolds right now with flexing play towards window as well, so he can support bottom mid. A head boost to peek towards catwalk doesn't produce much information here for Ghost Gaming, so they're going to go ahead and refresh the smoke in the window and probably throw Neptune up and in there, and they do. But unfortunately for them, they didn't know that Ruru was in this spot, so that position from Ruru works out really nicely for them. However, he's got to watch out for that Molotov. He does throw a smoke down, but he's trying to avoid the molly. He doesn't realize how far the flames are spreading. So he goes down to 59 HP just trying to find the edge of the Sprite. But it's still a man advantage. Make it a 2-man advantage here for the CT side. And now a 3. It's just Wardell and B wondering what they can really do in the round. Blade is low on HP, as is Akis. But it's a very difficult situation for them to climb their way out of, and now it's just B alone.
Wardell had so much utility, but not using any of it. So he goes down. It's like 4 grenades onto the floor. B, bit of a nice denial against Ruru, and he gets played. And a 3rd as well. Nicely done from B. Getting the 4th is going to be the real trouble spot, though, as now he's at 6 HP. And yeah, finally meets his maker against Silent. Rush going up to map point here. But good attempt from Ghost. And at the very end there, some decent damage being done. At the very least, keeps the money low for the CTs. And obviously, if Ghost retaliate here, puts Rush right back into another full save for 1, maybe even 2 rounds again, as they will be losing their losing bonus.
But Rush did what they wanted. They got that 15th round. That's what matters. Make sure it's secure. Okay, at least we know overtime is incoming. Ghost has that full buy coming in. A little bit weaker on the other side. Blade's got to use an ump. But he's putting it in a good position. He's playing aggro, close towards ramp. He's got to watch out for Wardell, who's actually holding this position. And he just saunters on through the smoke at a really difficult time. So the ump is going to be taken out of the equation very early on in the round. Ruru has a lineup. Oh, he struggles. He actually could have gotten 2 kills there. Instead, he only gets 1. It would have changed the round so much so. Toy has to then keep his head on a swivel because he knows there's one more player coming in from this position. And all of a sudden, that lack of a double could be what wins the round here for Ghost. Had he been able to get that second player connector, it's now Toy and Silent versus Wardell. Instead, it's spun the other way around. Still manageable here for Silent, but yikes.
They know where Silent is, too, because he kind of fired.
Oh, no! That sucks!
It bounced right over the molly.
Oh. I have to talk to Sam about that one. That is gonna sting.
He's so mad right now, probably. He absolutely could have won that round as well. And now they're gonna end up on a full eco, probably.
I'd be fuming.
Oh, he's so mad right now.
Like, I don't know if I'd have a monitor anymore. There'd just be a big fist-shaped hole in the middle.
Oh, that's the definition of getting CS:GO.
Valve, please. My God. I mean, that's totally winnable. Like, he picks off the other player. All that smoke has to do is, I mean, they know where he is, right? But still, it's just unfair. It takes it out of his hands.
Well, Ghost are going to take huge advantage upon this one. Already moving it. Toy with a nice double, though, to respond to the first 2 kills from Connor. Back over on the steps there. He impacts with a deagle. Evens it back into a 3v3. No full rotate yet, but Ruru still spots a lot of this pressure back over here on T-Ramp. So I imagine in a moment he may be calling for Toy to move over, but oddly enough, Toy's moving further away from this one. Still just relying on Ruru to solo hold it, and Toy trying to sneak back up for his 3rd kill now. Silent's going to steal the glory, but they're in a second going to find out that, well, there's nothing back here.
Still a pretty good round right now for Rush. Toy's got this AK, and he's trying to join forces with the teammates on the A site. Ruru's pushed up in Palace that CZ75, but he's trained to the other direction. Not watching the site. He hears the bullets come out. At least he knows now that there's something going on here. They have no idea he's still here with this CZ75, and it should be an easy kill onto Connor, and it is. Tell me it's not going to end like this. It's Wardell left trying to keep this game alive here for Ghost Gaming. There's the kill on Ruru. There's going to be one more right behind him. It's Toy with the AK, and he never sees it coming. Rush close out the game. They make up for the botched smoke on Molly. We will be going to map number 3, which is going to be Cash. And like I said, in my opinion, watching these teams for as long as I have, that is a coin toss map for these two.
Yeah, I mean it's your old standard like NA ESCA map, right? So it's gonna be the one everybody knows. It's gonna come down to a lot more individual plays. There's a very limited amount of things you can do as a team on this map. So overall, it should come down to just a big old shirt on the side. Who continues to push through into the upper bracket finals, and who's going to end up having to fight through the lower bracket and play through at least two, I think 2 more best of 3s to be able to possibly qualify. That third map, guys, is going to be coming up in just a few minutes here. So stick around. We'll be right back as soon as the players are ready to go.